All right, guys. Hello. Doc Jing Ruder here, doctor of physical therapy and certified dementia practitioner. Welcome to the channel. This is my part two of interviewing employers here in the US who are hiring foreign trained therapists. Just like what I told you the last video, this is something I did not have before, the resources of knowing what are my options when it comes to company in the US, to get to know them, and to find out what they offer. Okay, so this is Mr. Eric. He is the owner of Rehab Max, located in Illinois. Okay, specifically in Chicago area. Okay, so those who wants to work in the Chicago, in the city, in the big city. Okay, he's one of the employers hiring foreign trained therapists. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is we're going to start off with Mr. Eric. Can you tell us about your company? When did you start? And we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Eric Taginad. I'm an OTD, a doctor of occupational therapy. Like you guys, I was trained in the Philippines from University of Santo Tomas. In 2003, I graduated. We built a company in 2008 by four therapists as well. So 3 Filipinos and 1 Indian. So in 2008, we started with home health, providing staffing to all home health agencies here in Chicagoland area. Now we have about 65 contracts and 70 therapists working for us. And we're also doing assisted living, independent living facilities, and outpatient as well. But most of the business focused on home health.
So, we already know that they're in Chicago, and then so the setting is home health. You said independent living,
assisted living facility.
Assisted living facility.
And we also have an outpatient.
Outpatient. Okay, so you have so many settings. Okay, so for those of you who do not know about assisted living, independent living, these are like apartments for senior, for older adults. They are set up with wider doors, with the bathroom accessible. Okay, independent living is just like a regular apartment. They do everything for themselves, but again, the apartment is set up with do not have like 40 stairs to access their room. They have elevator, very accessible. Assisted living facility is just like they need some assistance, like medication, if they need food preparation, if they need, housekeeping and laundry. Okay, so like the instrumental activities of daily living. Okay, so that is for ALF. Okay, and then they have outpatient. So in the Philippines, we are very familiar with outpatient because, in the hospital, there's outpatient, and then, in community, we also have outpatient. Okay, so that is good because at least you will be exposed to a wide variety of settings, facilities. So that is good. So what are the benefits that you offer to your therapists? So just, give them an idea.
So as a employer in the United States and as a therapist who actually was petitioned by an employer too. So we saw the demand, we saw the needs of the therapists as well. So like now I have 3 therapists coming actually on Saturday, tomorrow from the Philippines. So so actually there will be 2 OTs and 1 PT. So 2 from Manila and 1 from Mindanao. So what we do offer with them, since the company is owned by therapists, so that's a big difference if the therapy owned company because they know what the therapy needs, right?
Right,
it's not just about business of earning money, because we always tell that we became clinician first before we became a businessman, right? So that's
right.
So we provide number one, the USCIS rule is all the expenses from getting a lawyer, petitioning fees, working with PUEA is actually covered by the employer.
Mm-hmm.
So we do cover that. The um, therapist will not pay anything, zero. Okay, we pay for your airfare going
Woo.
Philippines,
Mhm.
so that, and we also pay 1 month of your stay in a hotel
Okay.
until you find a place. Now we also have an option of, and hopefully we can still doing that depending on how many therapists we're petitioning. Currently, we're buying cars for the therapist.
Ooh, that's
So
good.
to help them out to start, because in here in the United States, probably Jing knows that if you start here and you don't have any credit history,
Yes.
there will be a lot of sharks. Like
Mhm.
the percentage for the car loan is about, if you don't have any history, about 25% interest, right? So
Yeah.
for us as a company, we try to help you. We'll not give you like the best car, but we give you a car that you can use, and
Right.
like no interest, so zero interest.
That's
We're
good.
trying to keep that, and hopefully we can keep that for the next batches, because we know um what do you call this, we need to help you guys out.
Right.
That's what it is to start with, because
Yeah.
when you're happy, then everybody is happy, the company will be happy.
Yeah. The patients will be happy too.
Yeah, the patients will be happy too. So yeah,
So
then we also provide medical dental insurances and 401k after a year of service. Okay, the
okay.
short-term and long-term disabilities are optional, but company provides that one as well. 401k is the retirement, right? During the
Right.
retirement
Retirement. Yeah.
funds for you. So most of the companies doesn't provide that. What we provide a 3% matching.
Gotcha. You match. Okay.
You match 3%, and then we do a CEU, which is a credential education units, 500 a year.
$500 a year.
A year that you
Oh,
have
that's
to,
good. That's
yeah,
good.
you have to renew your license, or else you cannot practice, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
Right. Right.
So I think that's more, and of course we provide paid time off, which is 4 hours per pay period.
Okay.
So the good thing with the company, and compared to other, and probably we have to educate the therapist. So Jing, the question is all the time, like they petition us H1B, but the problem is they only give us hours on how much hours we worked. What if the facilities only have like 4 hours for you? They're gonna get paid you 4 hours. That's not right.
Right.
If you're an H1B, you are salaried.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not a problem if they don't have a census.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So our company doesn't do that. Our company, whatever we signed for in the contract,
Yeah.
we use that. So if you have 60,000, for example, 60,000 annual salary, you're gonna get that no matter what, even the census is low. If the census is high, and that's overtime, right? You
Gotcha.
get.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with probably we're proud of, and that's why therapists are staying, because even the COVID time, you know what happened during the COVID, therapy is like kind of like neglected a little bit. So, but we still
Yeah.
get, we still pay the therapist, because we know that that's our obligation as an employer.
That's good. That's good. So the package is good. The one that they have, speaking about the car, I paid, oh my God, for that car back then. I paid 36,000, and that car is not worth $36,000
Exactly.
because I didn't have the history,
Yeah.
and I had to pay for it. So yeah, so I
Unless you
tried
have a
my best.
family, right, to
What's that?
co-sign. Unless you have a family to co-sign the car.
Yes, yeah, and they did not offer me that as well. So they took care of it, but that's the bill for the car, and I have to pay for it, and I have to just accelerate the payment so that the interest will not be so high. So that's good that you're offering that. And guys, it is very good to have therapist owned, just like Mr. Eric said, therapist owned company, because they know the experience of therapists, they know the needs of therapists, they know the struggles of a foreign trained therapist to get here. We don't have, just like here in the US, they have student loan. But we don't have student loan. Most of us, if our family are capable of sending us, our parents are capable of sending us to school, they pay for it. They might have debt that they pay, and
Uh-huh.
eventually we help them pay that. But we don't have student debt. But we also understand, guys, that for me, it took me 9 long years, Eric, to go here.
Mhm.
It's like I didn't know what I was doing, so that's why I created the course. I have a course right now on our
I
just
saw that one.
therapy.com on the
Yeah,
step-by-step process on how
exactly.
to be a licensed physical therapist here. So
Exactly.
maybe we can collaborate, and you can help me to do a OT,
Yeah,
step-by-step process.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's a
I
good
have
idea.
a book for that. I have a course for that that's available online, because the learnings that I had, and I don't want other people to go through what I've been through. And then I put it in a course. So it's up to you if you want to avail that or not. But I spent tons of money. I maybe spend, I don't know, 3, 5 grand before I was able to get here. And it might sound nothing for people here, if they compare it to the student loan. But it's for us in the
A little bit
Philippines,
different.
it's a lot of money. It's
Exactly.
a
Yeah,
lot
it
of money.
is.
Let's jump into um, if I am the foreign trained therapist and I'm very excited to work for you and with you, what do you need me to do? What are
Okay.
the requirements from
So
me?
the requirements is the only thing is or requirements are actually the FFCPT, the accreditation, NPTE, which is the examination for the OTs, and BCOT. So CGFNS is also actually a good. It's same as FFCPT, right? So that's accreditation as well.
Mhm.
Those accreditations are needed for visa screening. So according to my lawyer, those are not. The state doesn't require you to have a DPT. You know, it
No.
doesn't require you as long as you have license and PTA pass it.
Yeah, right now for physical therapy, because I made the course and I'm familiar with the current requirements of FSPPT and FCCPT. So for physical therapy, they require a master's
Yeah,
equivalent or a master's degree. So I graduated in year 2000, and we have the coursework tool, that the FSBPT use they upgrade it as the year goes by. So by the time that I was applying to the US, I have deficient subjects to be equivalent to a master's degree. So I took those 3 subjects, and I was, it's like a
so
CSRD and cultural competence and emergency procedure. So, but they don't require you to be a doctorate degree, but as long as it is a master's
exactly
equivalent right now.
right
But
now.
if you have a master's, a doctorate degree, so all the more the better. But
Exactly.
yeah, but I just want to clarify that if you have a doctorate degree, you cannot get away with credentialing. It doesn't exempt you from credentialing, because
You have to.
credentialing is the way for like the US to see whether your courses, your subjects are equivalent to what they require here. So it doesn't mean you're a DPT, you can get away with credentialing. Yeah.
So, Brother Jing, you can help me too. There's a question, since you know the processes for PT.
Mm-hmm.
There's a credentialing body they call the NYSED.
New York State Education, yeah.
Yeah,
FCCPT NY said is for just credentialing. It doesn't include the healthcare worker certificate. So the healthcare worker certificate is the one that you will pass to USCIS to petition a healthcare worker. Uh, so so if you are here already in the US and you are an immigrant, or you are a US citizen, you can go by credentialing without the healthcare worker certificate. But the healthcare worker certificate is for petitioning a healthcare worker outside the US to come here and be granted a visa. So that is a requirement to be granted a visa.
So
Yeah.
it's clear. So it's clear
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah. So that's why I created the course, because there are so many confusion. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's like going to the forest without a map, without a compass,
Yeah, that's
So yeah,
that's a
so
good job.
that is
Yeah.
very, very hard. Okay, so any final words or encouragement or any information that you want to share with people watching?
Watching. So you know what? I always tell this to all the therapists when they ask questions. I know they usually ask a lot of questions. I was like that too because I don't have any idea, which is good, right? You have to
Yeah,
ask questions to the
right.
employer, and some of the employers will not tell you the real thing. Of course, they're gonna let you know. They're gonna let you, what they call. They will tell what you want to hear. That's
Mm,
exactly what it is, right? So when I'm telling them, don't actually look on. Sometimes you cannot compare the salary. The salary is based on the prevailing wages. When they offer you prevailing wages, it depends on what state, what city, and stuff you are. Okay, those companies should comply with the prevailing wages. You cannot compare a prevailing wage from New Mexico to California, and definitely that will be different, totally different.
mhm,
Second, when you look at the contract, you always ask them, "Am I paid no matter what?"
mhm.
So that's the important thing. Like especially during the COVID time, most of the therapists are working only 4 hours. If you're H1B, you're protected. You're actually protected than the green card. Because the green card people are like Americans, like they're US citizens, almost like US citizen, right? So if you're H1B, you're actually protected by the employment rule, right?
Agreement. Mhm,
RIM. So
mhm.
so that's number two. Number three, therapists are asking why can we not be petitioned as green card right away or EB2, EB3? Of course, I mean everybody wants to be a green card right away, right?
Right, right.
But think about it, the process of petitioning someone compared to petitioning an H1B, it's totally different. So when if you want to work in the United States right away, go with H1B, right?
Mhm.
Because you can start right away.
Right, right.
And then when you're here, you process your EB2, EB3 with your employer. Like
Mhm,
I said,
mhm,
for us, my thing is we provide green card petition and we also cover for everything for green card.
mm.
But that's a privilege for an employee who's a good employee,
Okay.
right? So
Right, right.
so some agencies will petition you actually for green card, but now I don't know how long would it take. Probably 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. So
Right?
it
So,
depends. Yeah. I was talking to another employer. He's also Filipino,
mhm.
Mr. Russell. He's from Indiana, and he said it can be 2 years or more. So yeah, and the processing of immigrant visa, because I was also petitioned way back then, and the retrogression was so severe, like the backlog. And so
Exactly.
I waited and waited, and my priority date did not come out. And so I had to apply to another employer for working visa, and then they were able to finally petition me. So I have a question with the working visa. So um, if they have, because I bet you have heard that we have like colleagues here in the US who are being benched, the benching kind of thing. Like what you're saying is like they have a H1B, but they are not given work. And I
Mhm.
also actually saw a post that he's just being given like $100 per month by the employer. That, which is ridiculous, right? You cannot live in the US with $100 per month.
No.
So my question is, if they have a working visa, but the employer is not doing their part of the contract,
Mhm.
can they like contact you and get advice for that?
So we already have like 3 therapists who went to us through that. Okay.
Okay.
So first is same thing. They're not giving time enough. The salary that was promised wasn't given to them. I mean, they're giving them high salary, but only if you for 4 hours. Even they give you like, for example, $50 an hour, but you only work for 3 hours a day. What good is that? I mean, like,
Mm-hmm,
so,
mm-hmm.
so remember, when you're working as a full time, you have to be at least in the United States. You have to be at least 32 hours to be considered full. 30 to 32 hours, depending on the company.
Mhm.
then you're gonna get benefits. They're gonna question you, or the company will question you, the insurance company, if you're not getting those hours and you're still getting medical dental benefits. So that's another thing. So when they have issues with that, remember, like I said, the H-1B, the worker visas are protected. Okay, whatever the contract is, it says that you have to be paid this amount. Your salary, you have to be paid this amount. If they don't follow that, they're also breaching the contract.
Right.
So what you're gonna do is, they don't have the right to keep you, because you can tell them like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna call Department of Labor or USCIS, because this is not right.
Right.
So I have two therapists who came to me in that, but they cannot. The agency cannot actually go after you. There's a contract. Yes, there's a contract, but if they're not following the contract as well, I mean,
Yeah.
they just,
Yeah,
so,
legality wise, if it goes to court, they're gonna. But you know what, Eric? There are so many, and I totally understand that, because we work in a foreign country, and
so they're scared.
when we're new, we don't really know the law. But we have so many cases, like in Facebook groups, they're posting, and they're not getting hours. They are afraid of doing something, of getting out of the agency or the company,
Exactly.
because they're afraid that they're going to be sued, or maybe they're going to be deported.
So my thing is, this is what you're gonna do. This is what I let the therapist did. So there's always, my lawyer was telling me before, you can always have a concurrent H-1B petition.
Okay.
So meaning, even you have an H-1B, there's always somebody can file you for H-1B.
Gotcha.
So
That's good to know.
the employer doesn't need to know that you have a concurrent H-1B. So what they did when they have an H-1B, they call the H-1B transfer. I can transfer your H-1B to the new company. There, what they call is expedite. So there's an expedite transfer, or H-1B. It's like, I think it's about 2,400, and you get the results in 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
So when they transfer, you can start working with the new company right away.
Wow.
And for example, for green card, there are like companies, I don't know why they'll mention the company, this big company, staffing agency, they sponsored a lot of people green card, right? And then what happens next? They just let them go because they cannot find someone to work for them. The green card is already processing, right? The best thing to do is somebody should carry over your green card petition. A company
Find another employer.
So they can continue the green card application with a new employer. You'll not go back to zero.
Yeah. You just have to be proactive.
Yeah. So you have to find someone who can petition you with 485, the I-485 to continue, because when you go to the interview, you should show that you are somebody's like companies giving you work, and you have a what they call this contract that they're gonna continue your green card application.
Gotcha. Okay. So for example, they have a tourist visa and they're here. Is that something that you consider to petition them?
That's a question a while ago. Today, actually, there's a therapist based in Texas right now, and he has DPT. She has everything complete. So what if March 1 to March 18 is the opening for registration. But everyone will do the lottery, right? So everything should be registered March 1 to 18. So the question is, what if on March 1 she got picked? It's always proper timing. So my question is, what if your visa was not approved? If you were chosen, it doesn't mean that you have a visa. You're just chosen. You have to wait for the visa
process.
to process. And you cannot stay longer if your tourist visa is expired. So means that it's proper timing. So it really depends on case-to-case basis. So
unless they can prove that, unless they can apply for an extension, and based on USCIS, whether they're gonna grant that extension or not.
Exactly. I mean, if I'm in their position and my lawyer was telling me to, if you're here, you got picked for lottery on April 1st, just go home for a few months because October you're gonna be back anyways. Why
Mm,
why why you wanna risk that, right? I mean,
yeah. Okay. All right. Because that was something that we also discussed yesterday with Russell, and he said, about he has, his point of view is if you're here, it's easier for him. It's easier to petition someone who's here than
yeah,
someone who's, in the
the-
Philippines.
yeah,
So,
because the part of POEA, the POEA part,
oh yeah,
you're gonna surpass. I mean,
yeah,
that's not
surpass that.
included. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
included. So because
Because I've been there. There's so many requirements, and then
oh
so
yeah,
there
they're
you have to
too
pay a
slow
lot.
and too
Yeah,
slow.
yeah, and they're too slow. So so if they want to get in touch with you,
Mhm.
what is your email information? What website they're gonna visit if they want to apply?
Okay. So our website is rehabmax.com. So rehabmax is double X. Okay. MAXX. And then you can also email us at hr@rehabmax.com. Or you can email me directly, Eric, ERIC, at rehabmax.com.
Okay. So just like what I said in other video guys, employers like Eric, they prefer you to be licensed already. Okay. So because we know, and I knew some of the colleagues before, they are depending on the employer to sponsor them from credentialing to NPTE, and
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
the whole 9 yards. The thing is, if that doesn't work with that employer, you are in debt, to that employer. Okay, you have to pay everything to that employer. So that's why I created the course so that I can guide you guys on how to apply from start till end, to do it on your own if you have financial ability to do so. Because once you are licensed and you find the right employer, then you will be prioritized compared to those who haven't started anything yet. Okay, so it doesn't mean you're licensed in the Philippines, you can be petitioned right away. Okay,
Mhm.
you have to do the credentialing, you have to do the NPTE, you have to pass the NPTE. Okay, so there are really things that you need to do that me and Eric have done, and it is very doable. It's hard, but it is doable to do that. So if you are licensed, you will be prioritized by the employer to be petitioned. Okay. So any other addition
Okay, one
information?
more thing. So this March 1st, which is March 1st, 2022, I'll be in the Philippines.
Oh,
We
okay.
have, we have a hiring event for the
Okay.
therapy. So just like I said, if you want to pre-register, it's hr@rehabmax.com. So of course we are prioritizing the one that has NPTE and FFCPT. The one who's taking they have FSPT now and they're just taking NPTE soon. They will be for the next year batch
Okay.
for the
Gotcha.
H1B. So then they can also attend and pre-register. So every year we do that February or March. We go to the Philippines to recruit therapists.
So where is the location? Where's the venue
The
for this
location
thing?
is in Quezon City. So it will be in Quezon City. We're still finalizing because I have a book hotel in Verseda, but we're still waiting for the POEA
Okay.
certificate. If not, then we're gonna do it to the agency that we work with. So they have a big building. Then we have a presentation. So the good thing here, so we have a presentation about the company, and we have a 1 hour question Q&A with our immigration lawyer through Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So anything that you need to ask the lawyers there,
That's
she's
good.
says. And
That's
then
good.
after that, we're gonna do the interview process and we do the selection.
Okay. So do they have to bring anything with them if they're gonna attend that event?
So the thing is, you have to bring, of course, for pre-registration, you have to send us the FCPT and your NPTE. Is it okay? But during the interview, you have to bring a resume and a copy of your passport, because
Mm.
that's the need. We need to submit on the pre-registration for the H1B, which is due on March 18th.
Gotcha, gotcha. So the more complete the requirements, the faster the process is.
Exactly.
And of course, you have to prepare for interview, guys. Right now, you have to face the mirror, and you have to speaking in English. You have to present yourself, you know, the strengths and your abilities and capabilities. You have to record yourself on camera. You have to look confident, you know.
Exactly.
And at least Eric is a Filipino. He can do some
I mean,
Tagalog words. And,
exactly. Yeah, you can talk to me with the good thing with the Filipino workers, which honestly, guys, I love Filipino workers. I love the Filipino therapists because they are hard workers. Filipino is a hard worker. They are really like, they will do everything. You know, if they can do work 24 hours a day, they will work 24 hours a day. So,
I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, for immigrant as a whole, I was just talking about this with my other interview, is that if we have seen the worst in the third world country,
yeah,
okay, and then we are here and being given this privilege and this blessings and opportunities to work as a physical therapist, as occupational therapist, very respected professions. You know, in the Philippines, it's still vague what is a physical therapist, what is an occupational therapist, and we are not paid, you know, enough, you know, for our profession or the respect. But here in the U.S. is really the land of opportunities, and once we see the blessing that we are getting by being here, by being given this opportunity. And if the person remains humble and know where you came from, that person is really a hard worker. That person is really, you know, thankful and grateful and an asset, you know, to the company. So one thing that we will tell you guys is once you're here in the US, don't get your head big just because you made it here and you are somebody. You just have to remain humble, hard worker, be an asset of the company, and you will be blessed, you know. And I think Eric, another trait that we learned here in the US, it's a teamwork. It's not, hey, I am the occupational therapist and you are just an assistant. I am the physical therapist and you are just the assistant. No, there's no such thing as that. It's a team effort. You don't look down to other professions because in our culture, we have that, you know, mentality of superiority over another. And that is, if you want to last in this profession, if you want to be respected, your integrity as a therapist, be known as someone who cares, and you know, you can easily land job, you can easily find someone to hire you because your reputation will go before you. They will interview people you work before. And if you were not a good worker with a bad attitude, they would know it. They would know it, okay? So just remain humble and be thankful for the opportunities that will be given to you, and you will be blessed. So Eric, thank you so much for your time. I will update you and update me about the venue so I can also, you know, make another video or insert that in my future video about the event, you know, in the Philippines, so I can promote that. And I'm sure that our fellow Filipinos are very excited. There are so many reaching out to me already, and they are very excited about, you know, me interviewing employers because this is really like a breakthrough in my YouTube channel, because I really want to do this because I didn't have it. You know what I mean? Back then, it's just, and Facebook was not like big back then, so we don't know really about companies and what's happening in the US. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, and get in touch with Eric. Eric, where were you when I was looking for an employee in the Philippines? Okay, so thank you so much and stay blessed. Yeah.